All right, I screwed up a little bit and I'm here to own up to my mistake. In the last video that I put out where I built this kitchen island, I gave some advice which I thought was good advice until I put the video out and I read one of the comments in the comment section. And the moment I read that comment, I knew, yep, I did that wrong. That's definitely wrong, and that's not really good advice for me to be giving viewers, and I need to put out a video to correct it, and that's why I'm here right now. So what is the issue? The issue is that butcher block countertop is made of wood, and wood expands and contracts. And this is something that most woodworkers who build slab tables or work with hardwood floors know very well. You have to take that into account. And for some reason, when I built this in my mind, I thought of this butcher block countertop as countertop. I didn't associate it as being made of wood, even though obviously it is, and so I didn't even think about expansion and contraction, and that's wrong. You have to. With the way that I reinforce this, as I show in the last video, I put steel flat bar underneath it and put screws all along the length of that flat bar. So when this countertop tries to expand or contract, which is inevitable, I suspect it will probably bow or flex a little bit because the screws are struggling to hold it in place, but you can't stop expansion or contraction. Another issue is that since this countertop is going to expand and contract, when I actually attached it to the body of this cabinet, I attached it with a bunch of screws, so as the countertop is expanding and contracting, those screws aren't really going to have room to move, so that has to be fixed as well. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix the mistakes with this countertop to reinforce it properly while allowing for expansion and contraction with seasonal changes. And just to let you know, I have updated the plans to build this island, and to the people who have already purchased it, I've sent out the updated versions in an email. Let's get started. The first step is to remove all of the drawers and to mark the position of the steel supports on the top of the cabinet. Next, I can remove the countertop and remove the flat bar from the recess on the underside of the butcher block. To give some extra room for the countertop to contract without squeezing the steel flat bar, I used a chisel to extend the recess about 1/4 inch. You can see here how the screws securing the countertop to the cabinet don't have any room to move back and forth along the direction of expansion and contraction. The fix to this is to make an elongated hole. I positioned the flat bars onto the cabinet in the exact locations I had marked earlier. Then I screwed them into the top of the cabinet. A few people have pointed out that flat bar isn't really the best choice for reinforcement here, and I actually agree. C-channel, for example, is much more rigid, and as you can see, this relatively thin flat bar flexes a bit. I'm personally still happy with flat bar for this thickness of countertop and this amount of overhang, but if you're building this yourself and you're worried about rigidity, there are stronger options out there for sure. I put the countertop back onto the cabinet and the recesses lined up nicely with the supports. I attached the supports to the underside of the cabinet only on the far end. This means that the countertop will be forced to expand and contract towards the drawer side of the cabinet. I attached the countertop to the cabinet with screws through the elongated holes I made earlier. I used washers to prevent the screws from driving through the plywood, and I also made sure not to over-tighten the screws. By leaving them just snug, the countertop is held in place while still being able to expand and contract. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and if you're one of those viewers who comments and points out my mistakes, I appreciate you. Seriously.